friends, Shalon here with Bible Journaling Ministries Creative Team. And today I want to show you how I utilize the beautiful digital stamp filled with the Holy Spirit, some iCraft deco foil, Aleene's foiling glue, and a brayer to create this beautiful bookmark. So if you're ready, let's get started. Welcome to learning how to use deco foil without using any heat. With this tutorial, I will be using the Aleene's foiling glue. Now this takes a little bit of time, and I have tried it 4 or 5 different ways, and so my video won't show you all of the time it takes for me to utilize this, but as we go through, I will kind of explain a little more. But I am using the Believe digital stamp, and I kept it the same size. I did not resize it, but as you can see, I did print it on a color of cardstock. So I am going to just begin by showing you. So this deco foil, you get 5 transfer sheets in the tube, and I have already been using one that I was testing and kind of learning myself how to use foil. So as you can see, it's got some places missing on it, but that's okay because I have other foil left on the sheet. And so they're very thin sheets. You see the color on one side, and then it's got this gray backing on the other. So this is what we're going to lay down. So I'm just going to set this aside for now. Let me move it so that it's not shining in your eyes with the light. But this Aleene's foiling glue, it is metallic foil adhesive for wood, paper, glass, metal, and more. And it does come with a tip that you need to cut off, as you can see there. So it's not as fine lined as the lines in this stamp. But what I'm going to do is just go along. I'm actually going to foil her hair. And I'm going to leave it uncut for now. But as we go along, I'm going to cut this out and make a bookmark out of it by layering other cardstock underneath it to make it as long as I need for my Bible. So I'm just going to start by putting down this glue in the strands of her hair. So I will speed up the video so that you don't have to watch me do this completely. And I am going to start, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to start on the far left so that I don't get my hand in, my glue that I put down. So I'm just going to start at the top here. And I'm just squeezing lightly. Now again, it's not as fine coming out. The tip is not as fine as the streaks in her hair, the drawing of her hair. So I'm going to do the best I can by squeezing gently and just adding along kind of the bigger strands. Also, I don't want my foiling glue to really kind of bunch. You know how glue, when it starts to spread out, it will bunch. So I don't want that to happen. And I try to start at the bottom of whatever I am kind of putting this glue down on, because it gives me a little better control to see, although I can't see which direction it's going at the top. So, it's, and then some of these lines are very, very thin, and so sometimes I will cover both of them. That's okay. just kind of going to go with the effect here. And if you have never played with foils before, I have done foil flakes before, and I will be doing a tutorial on foil flakes as well with one of our other bonus kits. But I've tried the embossing stamp, I've tried the embossing powder, and then putting the foil. I have not been successful with that. So if you have tips on how to use the embossing stamp, ink pad, stamp pad with stamps, and then the embossing powder, share your tips. I don't know if I just don't have enough ink. I know that the powder is, when you get it to be glossy and then it's wet glue at that point. And if you don't get your foil on really quick while it's wet, it'll dry and then be useless. And I think that has been my problem. Of course, it could be heat too. I don't know. I may play with it some more and see if I can't figure it out. Surely I can. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do her strands. I will speed up the video so you don't have to watch me do all of that. And then I'm going to let it dry. So I will be back after I have put all of my glue on and then let it dry. I have tried this using my blow dryer, and it did not work out very well because the glue did not dry completely before I put my foil on. So when I was testing this method, I tried just setting it aside and letting it air dry, which took forever. And I did not even do a very big place, or I did not even do a very large area, but it did take quite a while for it to air dry, but it worked beautifully. So this is what I did, just testing it out. And as you can see, it is puffy, but I just drew with my glue these little dangles, and I'm going to use this in my Bible as just kind of a tag, a tip-in tag or something like that. Write notes on the back and add it to my Bible. But I let this air dry, and then after I let it air dry for several hours, it was tacky, and I was able to just lay my foil on it and kind of burnish it with my hands and then pull the foil off. And so it worked better that way. I tried with a blow dryer and a heat tool, both of which I was not successful. So I will speed up the video. I will get this glued, and then I will come back after it has, what I would say, dried. It really isn't dry. It's tacky, so that the foil will adhere to it, and then show you what my process is to get the foil to stay down. So I have my foil and glue laid down. And as you can see, I went ahead and did the wings of the dove and then the strands of her hair. So I'm just going to let this air dry, and I will be back once it is, well, I say dry, but tacky and ready to accept the foil without smooshing as wet as it is right now. So once this becomes tacky, then I'll be back and we'll do the foiling. All right, so I believe that I referred to this digital stamp wrong a little earlier in the video, this is the Filled with the Spirit stamp, and I believe I called it something different. So this is the Filled with the Spirit digital stamp. Now, about 4 hours has gone by, and I have left this alone. And if you notice, what was white is now clear and kind of puffy, but it's tacky. So I am going to take my foil sheet. I actually think I'm going to take a new one because I have been playing with that one to test and learn myself. So I'm going to take a new sheet. That has not been played with and used, because I want to get a really good covering. Now, I could have come back a little sooner and used my foil. However, some of my places on here were very, very thick. And so these thinner ones up here at the top were clear, but I still had the white color to some of these thicker areas. So I wanted to give them all a chance to become really good and tacky, so I didn't smush, because I really want these details on this image. So I got my foil out of my little tube here, and I am just going to lay it down with this gray side down on my image. And as you can see, I could, instead of going long ways like this, I could go this way because it's multicolored, but I am going to try and get this as straight as I can along my edge to get some of that turquoise and the gold and the pink. I'm just going to take my hand and rub. And this is the reason why I wanted to make sure that it was tacky and not still the white glue look, because I am adding a little bit of pressure and I didn't want to smush it down and make it flat. So this way it's just tacky to hold on to the foil. I'm going to grab my brayer and just roll across the top, just for a little added pressure. Not really, really hard, but a little more than what I can with my hand. Okay, so I am going to take this off. Look at that. You can see on my foil page where it pulled off onto my image. Now, there's a few places that are still a little sticky, so I'm just going to take my sheet and pat. And by doing this way, you actually get some different colors of foil on your image too. And it's still, as you can tell, tacky. I'm just going to keep smushing until it's no longer pulling any foil off. This is a great way to use foil if you don't have any kind of heat tool or embossing anything. And I like the control that the glue actually gives you to do some of these fine details. All right. So we have, isn't that beautiful? And you can still see the dove and his wings have the foil on them as well as in her hair. And you can still see her face and the dove. Now, if you wanted to do this on white cardstock and color in these other things, that's fine. I just wanted it to look like this. Now I'm going to take my paper cutter and I am going to cut this out, but then I'm going to lay it on a larger piece of cardstock, just this same color, this same piece actually. Glue it on top and make it bigger. I think I'm going to do it this way because, again, this is still trying to test and see if it's still a little tacky. Actually, it's not, but I don't want to chance it. Don't want to chance it. Let's see. I guess either way, because it's so thin, or not very wide. So I'm just going to line this up. If you wanted to use a different color of cardstock, you could do that as well. But I want to make a bookmark. And I want to be able to have enough space at the top here to punch a hole and put me some thread or a ribbon or something like that on this. And I don't know which scripture or anything like that I'm going to be using this for, but I just wanted to create this with you and show you that you don't have to have heat or embossing anything to be able to use foils in your journaling and your creating. I'm just going to use a glue stick, a very old glue stick. But hey, it still works, so I use it. You could use double-sided tape. You could use glue dots if you wanted this to, sit up on your other piece of cardstock. Okay. How far up? That looks about the way that I want it. Because again, I want a hole punch up here and a little bit off there at the bottom. I don't want it to stick in my Bible. And this also gives me some, on the back side, I will have room to write notes if I want to. And I just try to eyeball. I'm not too particular when it comes to even space from this side to this side, or I just try to eyeball it and do the best I can. If you want to measure it like that, feel free. This is your creation. apologize if you hear my puppy. She is happily snoozing. As usual. I know you guys hear her a lot in my videos because she just stays down here. Both of my dogs stay down here with me in my area. Okay. Now, if I felt like I wanted to kind of zhuzh my bookmark up, I could totally take double-sided tape and run it along the edge, both edges and the top and the bottom, and put my foil down again. You can use double-sided tape like that, but I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to take my little hole punch, my very old hole punch, and just make me a place. Now, when I decide where I'm going to put this, if I want to put some ribbon with charms or maybe just embroidery floss or something like that, I can add that whenever I decide where I'm going to use this bookmark. But I just wanted to show you how you can utilize foil in your journaling and in your creating. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if you all can see just how gorgeous that is. But you don't have to have anything fancy. I know that I did use the Aleene's foiling glue, and I will put that link in the description. If you enjoyed this, please let me know by commenting, or give it a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe, the notification bell. We don't want you to miss anything. But how beautiful and easy foils can be in our journaling. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you always, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.